How should you properly connect speakers to an amplifier? With banana plugs, spade connectors, or just bare wire? What is by wiring and what is by amping? And at the end of this video, I'll show you the best audiophile way to connect wires. Banana plugs are the most convenient way to connect speakers to an amplifier. You take a regular banana plug, connect the prepared wire to the amplifier, connect the other end to the speaker in exactly the same way. That's it, the connection is ready. The same thing with a spade connector. The main difference between a spade connector and a banana plug is that the banana plug sticks out from the back of the amplifier by about 5 or 6 centimeters. And if the cable is stiff, like this one, for example, you might need about 10 centimeters of space behind the amplifier so you don't bend the cable too much. When connecting a spade connector, make sure it's insulated, because the spade can move toward the other spade and they could short out. Then nothing good is likely to happen. Bare wire. It's always cheap and always easy. Be sure to pay attention so that tangled, twisted and oxidized wire ends like these are clipped off. Now we strip them with a special tool. And there you go. Our wire to connect the speaker to the amplifier is ready. When the bare wire is prepared, we connect it to the amplifier and the speakers. Insert it into the terminals and tighten the negative contact. Do the same with the positive contact. Make sure that the positive is connected to positive and the negative to negative. Make sure that the clamps only grip the wire and do not clamp the insulation. We don't need to clamp the insulation, we only need to clamp the wire. What are the benefits of using a bare wire? First of all, a bare wire doesn't require any extra space behind the speaker or the amplifier. Secondly, you don't have any expenses for buying banana plugs or spade connectors. Sometimes banana plugs and spade connectors can be quite expensive. Thirdly, the signal doesn't get any extra interference because when we connect our speakers and amplifiers using banana plugs or spade connectors, even though it's convenient, it adds an extra element in the signal path, and audiophiles can hear it, feel it, and be dissatisfied. What are the downsides? Of course, it's wire oxidation. That's why from time to time you need to disconnect the wires and check their condition. If necessary, cut off the oxidized ends and reconnect them. When connecting speakers and an amplifier, the wire may come loose, and then these little strands can easily create trouble with another contact and cause a short circuit. That wouldn't be good. Not only will you lose sound quality, but you could also lose your audio system because it could just burn out. If it's vintage or faulty, a working one, of course, will just shut off and stop working. We take the wire and snip off the ends that are in the way or have become frayed. The connection should be clean. Strip the insulation off the wire. I usually take 9 millimeters. Why? I'll explain now. And then we insert it into our banana plug. The thing is, I don't recommend stripping the wire completely and inserting it into the banana plug, because that way both clamps will be clamping the wire and they won't be clamping the insulation. Because of this, something might happen to your wire after some time of use. By the way, it's a good wire, good banana plugs, but it's completely stripped and clamped, and the wire starts to stick out like this, fraying and looking messy. You can't say that it's really terrible, but it's just not nice. That's why we strip 9 millimeters. Insert the wire into the banana plug, and this way one clamp grips the insulation and the other clamp grips the wire. And we get, first of all, a very good contact. Secondly, both the wire and the braid are clamped. This way we can move our wire as much as we want. Nothing will fray and nothing will get damaged. Here's an example of a wire that I've been using for about 3 years. I assembled it 3 years ago using exactly the same principle. The braid is clamped with one screw and the core wire is clamped with another screw. But you can see that this is a very stiff wire. I think it's called inacoustic air atmos. And despite the fact that I often made various connections, nothing happened to it, because both the banana plug and the braid, as well as the wire itself, are held in place. The spade connector is attached in exactly the same way. We take a high quality, nice, good spade connector, insert the prepared wire into the spade connector. See, it went in completely. One clamp secures the braid and the second clamp secures the wire. And look at how beautiful it turns out. Everything is neat, nice, and high quality. Now it's time to show the craziest audiophile connection. The thing is, any obstacle in the signal path degrades the signal and negatively affects the sound quality. Let me show you using the reflector audio stage speaker as an example. Right now, this is a beta test. We're testing how it will sound. It's phase linear. It already has a flat amplitude frequency response. And notice, the speaker cable is connected directly to the crossover, bypassing the speaker terminals. This is done to avoid interference in the signal path. The other end of the wire is also bare. There are no bananas, no spades, nothing on it. And this is exactly how reflector audio stage is connected to the amplifier. If you're into hardcore, I think you'll have no problem taking apart your speaker and connecting it bypassing the speaker terminals. And if you're a hardcore audiophile, I guarantee you'll definitely hear that the sound has become much better. Well, dear friends, it's time to tell you what B-wiring is. B-wiring is a two-wire connection. B means two, wire means wire, two wires. How does it work? On the speaker, we need to remove the jumper that connects the mid-bass to the tweeter. Then we take one wire and connect it to the amplifier terminals, plus to plus, minus to minus. We connect the second wire to the same terminals, plus to plus, minus to minus. I'm using a rather unconventional connection method, both a clamp and a banana plug. This is just to show you how it works. And we connect it to the speaker terminals. One wire goes to the high frequencies and the second wire goes to the mid-bass. You most likely won't hear any improvement in quality, but I've tried doing this many times and all I heard was a difference, not an improvement. But if you are someone with super hearing, please write in the comments how you would describe the sound improvement with bi-wiring. The advantage of this connection is that the resistance of your wires decreases because their cross-sectional area increases. And theoretically, there should be fewer distortions along the signal path because of this. What other advantages are there? Well, I don't even know. Probably just the self-suggestion that you now have bi-wiring. Now let's figure out what bi-amping is. It's the same thing, bi-2 amplifier. Two amplifiers for one speaker. This is a setup where each amplifier powers one driver. One amplifier works for the mid-bass, and the second amplifier works for the high frequencies. Let me show you how to connect it. The wires in the speaker are already connected from the bi-wiring setup. So we take the wire that's connected to the tweeter on the speaker and connect it to the lower amplifier. Then we take the second wire, which is already connected to the mid-bass, and we connect the banana plugs to the terminals of the second amplifier. Now our speaker is connected using bi-amping. What are the advantages? First of all, each amplifier powers its own speaker. This way, the total power delivered to the entire speaker increases. And of course, the amount of interference that the speakers cause to each other is reduced when they are connected with 1 or 2 wires to a single amplifier. This way, the overall quality of the system is improved. The biamping connection method is true audiophilia, but biamping is far from all, dear friends. For example, in the audio reflector speaker of the monitoring reference phase linear acoustics with a flat frequency response, triamping is used. 3 amplifiers work on the speaker, 2 amplifiers power the mid-bass drivers, which are located on the sides, and a third amplifier powers the tweeter, which is located in the center. Thus, the interference of the speaker impedance is eliminated, because each amplifier is responsible for its own drivers. That's really cool. But triamping isn't even the craziest thing in high-end audio. There's 4 amping, 5 amping, and even more amping. For example, when I was at high-end in Munich, I heard a system that works with 10 power amplifiers. 5 amplifiers power the right speaker. Each one amplifies its own frequency band, and 5 for the left. Each of these amplifiers has its own power supply, so we end up with 20 power supplies. Then there are 2 digital to analog converters, one for each channel, and each digital to analog converter has its own power supply. Of course, the source. And it turns out that for high quality sound reproduction, we just need a whole wall of all kinds of equipment. And if, for example, you want to listen not to stereo, but to watch a movie in 5.1, then you just need to surround yourself with all sorts of components. And, well, then of course you'll reach audio nirvana. Please write in the comments which connection method you use. Let's sum it up. The best connection is a clean, tight, reliable connection without any unnecessary parts. If you like, you can do it yourself. Well, now as I promised, I'll show you the best audiophile wire connection. Sometimes we just don't have enough wires at all. So what should we do then? We need to connect them. Soldering for audiophiles is not acceptable at all. After all, it adds an extra layer of lead, tin, maybe even audiophile grade in the signal path. And that's very, very, very bad. The audiophile community won't approve. We take the wire and strip off the insulation so that we have about 4 centimeters left to work with. When the wire is stripped, under no circumstances should you twist it. It should just be fluffed out, not twisted. Then we fold it, leaving a little space in a cross shape, and we make 1 turn. That's enough. Then we wrap the ends of the cable around the wires. We end up with the best audiophile twist in the world. Because the contact is tight, all the wires are connected securely to each other. If you don't like this copper bundle, take some blue electrical tape. I think that every normal guy who watches the premium hi-fi channel has blue electrical tape at home, and we insulate it. But if you want something a bit more civilized, you take a heat shrink tube, put it on, and shrink it with heat. Actually, this type of connection is not audiophile. It's a classic aviation twist which connects wires better than soldering with tin or lead. Or whatever else they use for soldering, I don't know. This type of connection can withstand everything. Seawater, cold, heat, wind, tension, stretching, all kinds of movement. Nothing can really damage this twist. You can only damage the entire wire, but not the twist itself. That's all, dear friends. My name is Arkady Zinin. I am the founder of Premium Hi-Fi. If you are in Riga, come visit us, and may the force of the right sound for you be with you.